In this video, I'm going to show you a simple system based on support and resistance, delta, and the trend. I've got a 5-minute chart loaded, got it all scrunched up, just looking for some levels to manually draw. Gonna go back in time. Here is the 8:30 news today on Friday. So I'm gonna look at drawing some levels from before that time. I've got my NINZA quick drawing tool up here. It's a free indicator from NINZA. There's a link to NINZA in the description. Allows me to have my favorite chart drawing objects right up in the corner here. So if I just click on the button, now I can draw a horizontal line anywhere on the chart. Like this level. See, we rejected there, rejected there, rejected there, rejected there. Just looking for the spots with the most rejections. Got a bunch of rejections there, 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 there. Rejection there, rejection there. Rejection there, there. One more. Got a rejection there, 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 there. And one more above here. Got 1, 2, 3 rejections off of that line. Alright, so I just made these lines global so that they will appear on my 1-minute chart. So I can just get rid of this 5-minute chart for now. See, one of these purple lines was right on a previous day's point of control. That was a powerful line. Got rejected a couple times today. This was the first candle of the New York Open. We came right down to this purple line we just drew. Had a nice bounce. Another purple line we drew. Nice rejection off of that. After this big push up, we got to hold up around this other purple line we drew. Got a rejection right off of it at the news, which was also right at the 20 SMA at that point. And only one of these purple lines was in the same place as one of my key levels. So manually drawing your own support and resistance every morning can be very helpful to give you some additional key levels to look at. So there's the support and resistance aspect of this system. Now we're going to be looking at trend direction and following the buyers and sellers. For the trend portion of this strategy, I'm using the XXX indicator. It's printing these candle colors red, white, and green. It's also printing these red dots and green dots. This is when we get a triple moving average crossover signal. So we got 3 pre-market, and then we got 1 about 9 minutes into the open. We also had the delta growing, as signified by these delta wave triangle markers. This is from the ultimate delta indicator. The ultimate delta does a lot of different things, but in this instance, I'm just using it for the delta wave signals. So we can see when there's a steady increase of delta or a steady decrease in delta. So a couple ways I will trade these delta wave signals. If price has been moving up for a little while and we get a delta wave to the downside, I could possibly be interested in a trade if we break below the signal candle. Here we get 3 breaks lower of all 3 signal candles. Get a move lower. This candle right here, we have already been moving down. Could this be a sign of exhaustion? We don't know on this candle. That's why I always wait for confirmation. Waiting for a break below this entry candle, we never got it. So another way I will trade these delta wave signals is taking a failure to break out in the opposite direction. The most potent way to take a failed breakout is when we are getting green delta waves when we're in a downtrend, or when we get red delta waves in an uptrend. I'm also looking at price action when we get a delta wave signal. Like this has a big bottom wick, tiny little body. That's a very bullish candle. Get a nice little pop up there. Here's a delta wave to the downside. We just had a wicking candle beforehand. This candle is wicking as well, right under the 20. Delta just keeps decreasing, keep dropping. Big bottom wick. That's bullish. Here we get a delta wave to the upside. We don't get a break above on the next couple of candles. We do on the 3rd candle, and we do pop up 10 points or so. But if it doesn't break the entry candle on the first candle or 2, I'm not necessarily as interested at that point. When we get this signal candle several minutes later, I'd be looking for a break above this entry candle, which we do not get. Big wick on this candle, it's looking bullish, followed by a delta wave signal to the upside, another delta wave signal to the upside with a triple moving average crossover dot, and we're above VWAP. That's looking like a pretty solid trade. And we get another delta wave signal to the upside, and we're breaking above this previous high. And we have clear sailing up to the next support and resistance level. Here's a red delta wave while we're in a long trend on the XXX. We do not break lower, so no short trade triggered. We do have a failed breakout to the upside. So taking along on this failed signal, when price breaks above the high of this trigger candle, pop up 20 points. We get a bearish wicking candle, and then we get another delta wave to the downside, taking a break below this entry candle, got 12 points or so. Then no signals for a while, not really much to do. Here we get a delta wave to the upside. We've been on quite the move to the upside. I'm not too keen on trying to buy the highs of the day, unless I've got some very good other reasons to do so. We also had 10 o'clock news coming up. So for me, I'm going to be disregarding most signals leading right up to the news. Here's the news candle. After the news though, nice big wick on this candle. Tiny little body, very bearish. And a delta wave to the downside. Get a nice pop lower. Now we get a pretty nice sized red candle on the XXX. Another delta wave. We pop down 15 points. And as we're coming down, we get a delta wave signal to the upside. I wouldn't be taking a break above right into the 20. Maybe if there's a bunch of delta coming in on this candle, I'd take a break when we got a certain distance away from the 20 SMA. As long as I had enough room until our next key level, which in this case was the pivot point where we get a little hold up. Here's another great example of a failed breakout trade. We get some negative delta divergence. Price never breaks lower. We have a failed breakout higher. Get a nice push up. We're finally breaking above the pivot point with a pretty big size candle and a delta wave to the upside. Taking a break higher. Got almost 20 points in a couple minutes there. Here's another failed breakout example. We're in an uptrend. We get a negative delta wave. Price does not break lower. If we take the failed breakout higher, there's 13 or 14 points in a minute. When we get a close below the 20 SMA and our XXX candles turn red, we get a delta wave to the upside. We've got the 20 SMA right here. If we break out above this candle, I also want it to break above the 20 SMA just because it's so dang close. 20 SMA holds. We get a delta wave to the downside. We break below this previous entry candle. So it's kind of a failed breakout to the upside. And we have a delta wave to the downside on the candle that pierced. Here's another failed breakout example. We get a delta wave to the upside. We do not break above this entry candle. We break lower, failed breakout, come right back down to the pivot point. Here's a delta wave to the downside. We're also coming up to one of our support and resistance lines. We do not even break lower than this trigger candle, so no trade triggered. This signal, delta wave to the upside. Nice big wick on this candle, very bullish. We're wicking right off of the pivot. Taking a break above this entry candle. We do get the break above. We got enough room up to the 20 SMA to get our profit in. We pop up about 15 points after the break. And here we are almost 11 o'clock. I'd be done trading. So I just wanted to break down a couple of features on some of my favorite indicators. Got the MMT XXX painting the candle colors and the triple moving average crossover dots. And I've got the MMT Ultimate Delta printing these delta waves. They've been very helpful signals for me. I came up with the concept of the delta waves just by looking at delta over and over, day after day, noticing certain patterns. Delta is definitely one of my favorite indicators. So I created a delta indicator with all my favorite features, as well as some things that I've personally observed that I've just never seen out there in another indicator. And then also just the simple power of drawing your own support and resistance lines. Just looking at the charts and finding areas of major rejection in the past can be a great way to add some more key levels to your charts. There's links to all the indicators in the description. I hope you got some good ideas for your own trading. If you're enjoying this content, hitting the like button is always greatly appreciated. Thanks for taking the time to tune in. Best of luck in your trading. Have a great day.